Hey there, it's Nathalie. Welcome to my channel. So I thought I'd try my hand at eco dyeing with fall leaves. And I bought this little baker's rack at the Dollar Tree, and I used some side cutters, Kleins or whatever you call it, to cut it apart. And so I bought two of them so I can have one for the top and one for the bottom to compress them. I went dumpster diving and got those Boston fern leaves. Then I have a sack. Oh, I've got some bulldog clips. Got a sack of leaves that are fresh and a pile of leaves that are dried from our Arkansas. Those are the fresh leaves from my trees out front and from a friend's tree. Got a couple of different kinds of paper, regular copy paper, mixed media paper. They come in a tablet and uh, they're pretty easy to work with. And then I've got some 140-pound watercolor paper, cold pressed watercolor paper, and then just a couple of paper towels that are laid around with a little bit of cat hair on them, of course. And I mean, who knows? You just never know. These don't have a lot of texture on them, so I'll just put them in here and give this a try. So I'm gonna work with my leaves that we got from my son and grandson and I took a trip to Arkansas, and we were just a little bit ahead of the trees changing colors, but I did find a few little treasures. So these are on the watercolor paper, and then I'm going to kind of mix this up. And then here's the mixed media paper. And I've not done this before. They're going to be boiled pages, and so I'm just kind of arranging them. Some of them are all face up or right sides up, and some of them I place where they're the wrong side of the leaf. If does the leaf have a right and a wrong side? I think it does. Anyway, uh, so that's on the mixed media paper. Fold that up and put that in my stack. And they're kind of crunchy because they were dried. I just had them in the glove box in the car. Let's find some. There's just regular copy paper. We'll put a few things on that. And see, that one is, I think, is upside down. Anyway, you just never know until you experiment. It's like, what if? What if I try this, or what if I try that? And I've seen several of the people that I follow and watch on Instagram that are doing some of the boiled book pages and papers. So we'll see what I come up with and how this is going to turn out. So once I get these all stacked, and then I sandwich them together like not all of the copy paper together, but I think at this point it really doesn't matter. There's the paper towel in the middle of the stack, but I did like the mixed media paper and then the watercolor paper and then the copy paper, and the order doesn't really matter. And I have discovered it doesn't matter whether you keep all the watercolor papers together and all of the mixed media papers together. Just really doesn't matter. But I'm using those clips to hold those papers in place, and I'm not sure exactly why I decided to rearrange this stack, but I did. And maybe I saw something sticking out, or maybe I was just being a little OCD or whatever. Anyway, I have a big pot that's the tamale pot that I used to use for steam dyeing my silks because I do silk painting. I thought this is going to be just exactly the right size, and I don't have to worry about putting a rock in the bottom or any support to get the rack up off of the bottom of the pan. I did put a rock on the top to weight it down, to weight the papers down, to keep them submerged underneath the water. Now, and I don't show this, but I did add a couple of tablespoons of baking soda into this pot of stuff, and I think it's going to make a difference whenever you see the end results, that little bit of baking soda makes a difference in the color. I think that's what it is anyway. So now I've taken them out, and they're still warm. They're not hot. Oh, yes, I boiled them for an hour and a half, and then I let them set for probably about 3 hours. And now I've got some newsprint paper that I'm going to lay these out on. I bought this at like Walmart. You can buy a package of it for shipping and packing. That's where it comes, is in the packing department. Now you can see that these leaves, two of them were turned right side up, one was upside down, and you can see the difference in the print. But I've got a couple of layers of that packing paper that's going to go between each of my layers of the leaves, or the leaf papers, mostly because I am just too lazy to go out into the garage and set the other big table up to spread these all out. So I'm just going to stack them up. There's the paper towels. so-so. And these were off of a honey locust tree, or I think this is what the name of that tree is. It's in my front yard, and they were kind of gold color, but they leached out green. Sorry about the head. Separate that out. Some of the papers I'm a lot more excited about or happy about, and then don't even know what those. Oh, that's more of the honey locust, and I'm not sure what the big leaf is. But so I'm not a botanical expert. I just like pretty leaves, and especially fall leaves. Some of those didn't come out too good, and I decided to leave those little leaves on and see what they do after they dry. What do they leave after they dry? Okay, so now we're all dry, and there's that little paper that I left the leaf on. And so the little impressions are better, clearer. They have a little outline around them after they've dried. I kind of like that. And so just a little preview of the dried papers, and here's the paper towels. So-so. But you never know till you try. Never know. Some of these I'm pretty happy with, and kind of anxious to try one more experiment. There's another one, kind of an up and down leaf. But these are the dried leaves. And so I thought I'd see if there's a difference between the dry and the fresh leaves. These leaves are fresh leaves, and I've got some maple leaves and oak leaves, and there's my avocado dyed paper. I thought, well, let me try putting a couple of these on that and see what kind of an impression I get on there. And there's Kitty No. She's always so faithful to come and help and put in her 2 cents worth. Weight that down just a little bit. That's off of a tree in my front yard. It is beautiful. Travel to Arkansas to see all the beautiful leaves, and the gorgeous tree was right smack in my front yard. Isn't that the way it always is? We think we got to go someplace else to find the special stuff. Because these are fresher, they don't crunch. The other leaves, whenever I would put them in, they sounded like they were breaking, but they didn't look like they broke up too much whenever when I took them apart. So this has been back into the pot again for an hour and a half, and I didn't put any baking soda in this one. And then I let it sit for about 3 hours. You can let it sit overnight if you want to, so it's completely cooled. I don't know how much difference it makes, the length of time. I haven't experimented enough with this to see how it does, with different times of letting it sit. So I just do like everybody else. I'll just go onto YouTube and see, how do I do this? How do I do an echo print? But like I said, I love Nick the Booksmith, and she's got a great video on this, and there's a couple of other ones that have done some of the boiled book pages. Not too happy with the avocado stuff. I mean, I love those papers, but the leaf impressions on here are not real impressive. I didn't know what I was going to expect, so I'm not really disappointed because I didn't have any kind of an expectation. And in just a little bit, I'll show you what they all look like when they're nice and dry. And I just used my same packing papers again. They had dried out pretty good by the time I did this part. Layer it back over. In fact, I kind of like the crinkly, almost coffee dyed look that's on the packing papers. I'll probably never live long enough to do all of the stuff that I have in my mind to do, all the things that I think about doing, all of the ideas that I have, and all of the ideas, the inspiration that I get. I like that paper. That one's pretty cool. And that little tool that I'm using right there is a ceramics cleaning tool, but it's just got a little point. You could use a little razor knife to separate those pages, because I didn't want to tear them any more than what they would normally tear. And I'm fixing to do you a little comparison so you can see the dried leaves to the fresh leaves. All right, here's a comparison. Here's the dried leaves from Arkansas. There's the Boston fern, the different weights of paper that I used. I like those little outlines on that little honey locust. That's pretty cool. Yeah, separate that. Yeah, I love that one. Anyway, I just want to tell you, I'm so glad that you're here. Be sure you give me a little thumbs up and subscribe. Share me with your friends if you would like to. If you are inspired, I'm going to come back at some point and make something out of these, and I'll show you what I decide to make out of them. And here's the one on the paper towel. These are the ones from, the paper towel was actually in that first batch. I'm not sure why it got in there. But here's the avocado dyed papers. They didn't turn out too great. These were the fresh leaves from the front yard and from my friend's trees. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and if you're already a subscriber, thank you for subscribing. And I am so glad that you took time out of your day to watch this. Anyway, I will see you next time. So, bye bye for now.